This class is all about reputation management, so it's important to understand what that term really means. One of my colleagues wisely says that reputation is an outcome and as a result cannot be directly managed in any way. A reputation instead is formed by customers, employees, vendors, and other constituents of a company. So it's not something that can be directly controlled since it's in the hands of so many different constituent groups. However, a corporation can control its identity and its behavior. And that identity and behavior can then influence the perceptions of relevant constituent groups. So to the degree that a corporation can effectively create and communicate an identity that resonates with its constituents, it can also influence its reputation. That's where reputation management becomes important. It's an ongoing process, and it's what we'll be focusing on in this class. Now we know that an identity is how an organization sees itself, and an image is how a constituent group sees an organization. Ideally, we want those two things to be the same or at least aligned closely because we want our constituents to see us in the same positive way we see ourselves. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. There are usually some differences. Sometimes there's a gap in between a corporation's identity and its image. These gaps have to be identified. They can be discovered by doing reputational audits of both external and internal constituencies. A reputational audit that shows significant differences between your company's identity and its image is an audit that tells you there are big problems with your company's reputation. You need to develop a plan to minimize, reduce, or ideally completely remove those gaps. The plan should address both short-term and long-term issues. The plan should also try to bring the multiple images of every constituent group closer in line to the identity of the company. Once you've successfully narrowed the gap between identity and image, reputation management efforts are not over. Reputation management needs to be an ongoing process in which you're frequently auditing and assessing the reputation of the company. By constantly doing this, you have a good chance of catching any problems early on. But you also must continue to strengthen your reputation management strategies to continue being effective at managing your company's reputation. Every aspect of this process is an ongoing cycle. Therefore, be sure to identify your Capstone clients' key constituent groups and monitor those groups constantly to see what perceptions they have of your Capstone client. Thank you so much for listening to this tutorial, and please feel free to move on to the next one, or ask your instructor any questions you have about this lesson.